Xhosa, Rele Amohela Xhosa Patriot Support Group. My name is Jason. In the Xhosa Support Group, we are all living positively with HIV. Each week, we get together to talk about issues that affect our lives with HIV, from positive living to promoting antiretroviral access in rural areas. Usiyanqoba uhlelo lwakho lokuphila kangcono nengculazi. Uma uphila ngegciwane le-HIV, or you have a friend, a family member, or a partner who is HIV positive, this program is for you. This week, we are talking about traditional male circumcision and initiation into manhood. We know that about 12% of youth between the ages of 15 and 18 are living with HIV. Today, we ask the question, what challenges does traditional initiation pose on youth living with HIV? What advice should we be giving to youth in general and HIV-positive youth in particular going for a traditional initiation? We are joined by Linda, his friend Wandile, and Dr. Dan Nkayana, editor of the South African Medical Journal and Vice-Chancellor of the Durban Institute of Technology. Linda, you decided to do your circumcision in hospital and then went through to do a traditional circumcision. Was this because of your HIV status?
I went my status, it's just because of the CD4 count there. I low, cool, and then again, friends Zamke, most this is not my thought. And then the out. Okay. That's why, for instance, mostly pressure. Yeah, because I think like ARVs, you go to like sometimes, I explain, but like, if I therefore, treatment, 10-month treatment, and then it's totally pesco alone. Abona mantini. So, I go on the Sham nice, the ARVs. Sipin claims be resistance comes and finally. I was soon conduct that decision is to go to hospital.
Did it work for you that you went through to hospital instead of going through to the bush first?
Yeah, because I came back from the bush. It did work for me.
Okay. And the other thing, any Indonesian did like go look at Kalinda, she's probably says a friend, school song, and Ulinda, so she so look at him. So I check again, and not that one can be besi ngambi no besi amanai, ne. But kunezinto benga kwasiba azazi or classes ends singenozenza naye because of ebeyingwengu, not because of status yakhe. And even though that Ulinde HIV positive, Tina says friends Ulinde no ayenza was tata, was Sakwatek, we had information, but what is HIV? So we accepted Ulinde as he told me to. Ne, no matter by status city. So go look at kwakhe besiyazi ukuthi Linda before look afana qala adibana nogqirha because of into ze-CD4 count yazazi and xa ulinda ambile nje wakuluka nantoni ingenzeka yabona and we couldn't just let anything to happen ulinda because of sifuna uba mabayindoda but besifuna i-confirmation kagqirha qala athi ugqirha no ulinda i-CD4 count yakhe ithi ngoku angakwazi akhululeka hamba yokuluka.
After olukile and olukele esibhedlele iye yenza nto le ilwenzile utshintsho nenam involve ke ngokufuli kwinto zenu zobudoda okanye still kukhona izinto angakazenzi because yena olukele esibhedlele or something.
So kokuqala ne ulinda siziba besiyazi situation yakhe which is sina sis friends zakhe ne we wanted what's best for him. Woluka laphi wenza ntoni as long ba ulinda ehambile okuluka njengoba be like ehambile wabuya ne so besibulela loo nto behambile oluka because ngibuya qaphela inumber yabantwana abaswelekayo because bafike basuke apha umuntu akoluka engazazi status yakhe engayazi impilo yakhe asukuluka nje asweleke yabo.
Do you consider him a man or do you consider him a boy? It would be a waste, I think, in my thinking, maybe no, he doesn't, that he goes through all of that and then he's still considered a boy.
Yeah, actually, I do regard him as a man.
Okay.
Even though we spent like maybe 2 or 3 days together since he came back, and I do regard him as a man, and I was so glad to see my friend, like, first of all, you know, after all this time. And that no matter of what happened, I do understand why it went like that. But in my case, I do regard him as a man. But somebody else, I don't know.
And we know we all have different cultures, and it goes way back in time. And I'm just saying, if circumcision is such a big part of manhood and becoming a man, I would think that if he's gone through the process, he's a man, end of story. However, as young men, as young Xhosa men, isn't it up to you guys to change the future? And to discuss these things and say, isn't there a different way of doing it? And challenging that old tradition of changes. I mean, surely you can't walk around your entire life thinking, am I a boy, am I a man? It's you, at the end of the day, is going to decide if you're a man or a boy, and nobody else.
Anthony asked a very critical question. And that question can only be answered by Linda.
Yes.
You went to the hospital, yes, you had your circumcision there. Then you went to the mountain to fulfill the traditional. Do you now feel that you have, in fact, reached where your wish is fulfilled? Do you feel like a man now?
Yeah, I feel like a man because, like, I know how to defend myself, you see, because they did give me that East Nation school. Besides that thing of circumcised, you see, there is a school that we've been given there in the bush. So I know how to, like, how to protect myself.
Yeah, with circumcision itself, the cutting, is it risky, maybe for somebody who's not infected? Is it also risky for somebody who's infected, and how is it risky?
Any person that uses the same very blade, like the same blade, and cut himself and let me, even like needle sticking, so which is, it can infect a person. So we do know that in order to contract HIV, it's in the blood, it's in the fluids. But in some fluids, you cannot contract it because of it has to be certain amount.
Yeah.
You do understand. But in the blood, it has to be just a piece of, like a drop of blood. You do. So I would say that it is very risky, and there are ways that can be prevented. Only if there was enough education, not just in the cities, also in rural areas. Like we need to have such educations, like let people understand what is at risk, you know.
But we've had lots of deaths, as a result of circumcisions. How much horror has that actually brought to the communities? And I think Vianney might be able to explain this. Has it brought sufficient horror that the communities themselves have said, we need to change the way we do these things? Yeah. Or is it just... Is the attitude simply that, oh, well, the spirits will see to it and we'll just do it the way we did it 300 years ago? I mean, I've wondered about that.
People who go through circumcisions need to promote better things of it. I'm not judging you by having this kind of discussion in your regard of going to hospital. I promote a situation where there's going to be gloves. I promote a situation where there's going to be a lot of knives. I promote a situation where there's going to be doctors, as you say, that if someone should go through it. But I don't want to promote a horror and say that HIV status and CD4 count leads to many deaths, because I don't see that going hand in hand. We must never come up to that conclusion.
Pindani, if you're HIV positive and you're a young boy and you want to become a man, you're going to become a man regardless. What are you going to do?
That's what I'm saying. That gloves, regulation on it. But what I'm saying is that the whole statement that gives HIV to the most deaths in circumcision is incorrect. Just as a one line is incorrect. Not every young boy who goes through circumcision is having HIV. Not every young boy is going through circumcision is having HIV.
You are saying that the deaths cannot be attributed to HIV status. You're absolutely right. Not only, maybe even not the majority. But you are willing to concede that if this young man here, Linda, had gone to circumcision school, being HIV positive, and the knife used to circumcise him was used to circumcise 10 or 15 other boys, he would in fact have caused a mini explosion of HIV infection. So that the risk is not just that the person that's HIV positive is going to die, but it's the fact that he's going to cause death of other people 10 years from now.